Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of European Battle Royale. We're nearing the end. I believe we have about half as many contestants as we started out with. So let's continue. The Vatican will be invading Southwest. So the country to the southwest of the Vatican is probably going to be France. Like, you can kind of imagine that. The Vatican will basically declare that Sardinia is a rightful part of them and France seized it from Italy without any reason. And Slovenia will actually agree with this because they want to give their Italian puppet state some more land. And Greece will also join in on this because they want to get some land. So basically, there's three countries that currently want all of Sardinia, but they're working together to take it away from France. Gonna be honest, the people of Sardinia also help with this invasion because they don't want to be part of France. And France, I think this is the second time they've lost Sardinia. At this point, they kind of just have given up on it. They don't, like, technically, they could ask the Sign Alliance to help them, but they kind of don't really feel like it because they knew that this war was going to be lost either way. So they kind of just give up on Sardinia. So that was a pretty short war. And this is what the division of Sardinia looks like. You might also have noticed the Vatican gave a little bit of land to Italy to appease Slovenia so that Slovenia didn't get mad at them. And Greece took the southern half of Sardinia, whereas the Vatican took the northern half. Finland will be invading east. It seems Russia can never catch a break. This Sign Alliance will once again declare war on Russia. Russia has been a pariah state since before the series started, obviously. So they're also still one of the most powerful states, and in fact, the second most powerful besides Germany that's not in the Sign Alliance. Well, actually, Greece might give them a run for their money by this point. As well as the UK, actually. So, but they're one of the most powerful states not in the Sign Alliance, and they're also the one that's the easiest for the Sign Alliance to take out, just given the geographic positioning of the Sign Alliance. So that's exactly what they'll do, with Finland starting by marching troops over here. And before Russia even realizes, because this is kind of a secret operation, they've lost access to the Arctic Circle, and whatever this island is called in the north here has also been taken. As Finnish troops start rushing eastward into Russia, as the Slavic Union is trying to invade mostly into Russia's Turkish territory, and it goes extremely well, as Russia wasn't really defending their Turkish territory very much. They kind of didn't expect it to be invaded, but it was. And the Soviet Union finally gets to this defense point. Russia manages to once again invade into here and retake Crimea, and invade into the eastern parts of the Slavic Union. The almighty power of the Sign Alliance is not going to go unnoticed. Just like mountains and mountains of troops from all over Europe are pouring into Russia, and they're making a beeline towards Moscow. And this is the third war in a row that Russia is losing. This war is being waged in the winter, but the fact that there's Finnish and Ukrainian troops means that it doesn't even really matter. Also, a lot of the troops are from here, and Russia is not even the coldest country. Now it's Finland by far. There's also Icelandic troops that are coming in, so it doesn't even matter that it's being waged in the winter, as Moscow nearly gets taken. The Slavic Union is not pulling their weight, only barely even making some incursions into Russia. Whereas Finland is where all of the other countries are pushing all their troops into because they know it's the more promising front. Estonia takes the opportunity to get a little bit of land while they can, so they do. And at this point, Moscow has been taken, and the Russian government has fled somewhere in Siberia into the Urals, basically. And at this point, it's hard for them to get commands out to their army without revealing their location, so they're doing it in a way that is not very efficient, and the western parts of Russia, which are the most populated parts, are cut off, basically allowing them to be taken with ease, and the rest is taken by Estonia. And now a rush is made by the Slavic Union towards the Caspian Sea, and once that is taken, Russia is very screwed, and their government, from hiding, decides one last time to surrender. And these are the new borders of what used to be Russia. Look at little tiny Russia there. It's still there, but it's very small. And its government is in Moscow, which is like one short invasion away from being taken by the Sign Alliance, specifically the Slavic Union. Let's just say Russia isn't doing very well right now. Liechtenstein will make an alliance with Italy. So I know I'm usually going to do this, but this is going to be the Green Alliance. The Italian state, to not seem like a puppet state, was for a while excluded from the Green Alliance, but at this point, Liechtenstein wants to join the Green Alliance, and so what they do is they have Liechtenstein and Italy make their own alliance, and then that joins the Green Alliance to make it less obvious that this Italian state is a Slovenian puppet state, to keep it easier to control. Slovenia will invade Southwest. So discount everything I just said, because the Italian puppet state tries to declare its independence from Slovenia after being forced into the alliance, like pretty shortly afterwards. And Liechtenstein now has to choose between Italy or Slovenia. They choose Slovenia, and so the two of them invade into the Italian puppet state. And let's just say things don't go well for the Italian puppet state, as it is basically all swiftly taken and divided up between the two powers. And Liechtenstein has gone from being double landlocked to having a coastline, which is kind of funny. Slovenia was very generous with Liechtenstein to try and cement their alliance after having just betrayed Italy. The Vatican will face a rebellion. So the rebellion that the Vatican faces is actually a Sardinian rebellion starting in the west of the island before swiftly spreading throughout most of the entire island. And this is basically in response to the Italian state being officially destroyed. Sardinia wants to kind of create their own Italian state. And it looks like this might even be successful, but then, and this is not the Purple Alliance, this is just the purple color, Greece will third party invading into Sardinia, basically taking advantage of the whole thing to invade into Sardinia and take the rest of it. They're careful not to invade into the Vatican's mainland Italian territory because they kind of want to keep good relations, but the Vatican is forced to cede the entire island of Sardinia to Greece. So that sucks for the Vatican. The Netherlands will invade north. Yet another country is getting ganged up on by the Cyan Alliance, being Britain. And so as soon as troops land on the shores of Britain, everything is going wrong for them. They were prepared for an invasion, but they weren't prepared for it to actually work in any meaningful way. Troops are then landed on Cornwall, and again, similar things happen. Iceland then lands troops on Scotland, as well as the Scandinavians. And then, as expected, an Irish rebellion breaks out. First in the west of Ireland, then spreading to Dublin, and finally all of the original Republic of Ireland, besides Northern Ireland, which tries to fight back, but is basically recalled as Ireland is able to take the rest of the country because Britain wants to defend their homeland, which is not going very well as London is almost taken. The entirety of, I think this is called Kent, is taken, as well as the eastern coast of the UK. Ireland then lands troops in Wales to try and fund a Welsh rebellion, which actually works as Wales starts rebelling as well. And England has fully been taken by the Cyan Alliance, as well as Scotland, meaning that all of Great Britain has. The Cyan Alliance then betrays the Irish rebellion, first invading into Wales, and then landing troops in Northern Ireland. And unfortunately for Ireland, they are no match for the Cyan Alliance. They didn't realize that the rebellion was just a pawn that the Cyan Alliance was using to gain the upper hand against Britain, and now they are facing the consequences. Okay, so here's the division. The Netherlands gets this, France gets this, Sweden gets this, and Iceland gets Ireland. The Slavic Union will be making an alliance with Estonia. In one of the most shocking events in the entire series, the Slavic Union will be betraying the Cyan Alliance. The Slavic Union has some dreams and ambitions, and one of those dreams and ambitions is to take most of what Finland currently has as their territory, so they want an excuse to leave the alliance, but they also don't want to just be on their own, so they actually join the alliance that Estonia is in, for the sake of keeping themselves somewhat protected against Finland and against the Cyan Alliance. The Cyan Alliance is super pissed at them for this, but there's not really much they can do about it. About half of the Cyan Alliance's power was basically in these guys. They're also partially doing it because they don't like that the UK was divided up. They had pretty good relations with the UK. They're mad at the Sign Alliance. That's why they're leaving. Czechia will be invading East. So the Sign Alliance is going to try and get retribution against the Slavic Union for what they just did. And Czechia is the one spearheading this whole thing. They start an invasion into the Slavic Union. And it goes pretty well because they're being supplied. And around the same time, Finland starts a massive invasion into the northern parts of what used to be part of the Slavic Union. And Russia will also start an invasion westward into, again, the Slavic Union. And the Slavic Union has a pretty airtight strategy, which is no other alliance in the world likes the Slavic Alliance. So Germany will just march their troops right into the rest of Czechia, and Poland will take the eastern parts of Czechia, and the Czech troops in the Slavic Union are pushed back. And before the Sign Alliance has a chance to respond, Czechia has already been divided up, and they realize that they've got a bigger threat on their hands, which is these guys. So they kind of ignore it. The next part of Ukraine-Belarus's plan is actually invading into Hungary, and pretty quickly this leaves Hungary to leave the war. They can't leave the Sign Alliance, they're required to be part of it, but Hungary leaves the war. And the reason that they did that was simply because it's a really easy way to get a decent amount of power out of the war and just keep another one of their borders safe, because now everything's on the Eastern Front. So Ukraine-Belarus will, or not Ukraine-Belarus, the Slavic Union will now move their troops eastward and are starting to take more parts of Russia. And things are just not going well for Russia right now, as Russia is basically caving in on itself. And their people are kind of just wanting to be part of the Slavic Union at this point, which is bad for them. Finland will actually pull a Germany during World War II and start invading into Russia on their own accord to basically keep them out of the hands of the Slavic Union. Unfortunately for Finland, Estonia starts invading into St. Petersburg, which obviously is welcomed with open arms. And this region of Finland is taken as the Finnish troops are getting pushed back over here as well as over here. And at this point, Finland is basically the only one out of the entire Sign Alliance that wants to keep this war ongoing, as the rest of the Sign Alliance sees it for what it is. And so they will basically be outvoted and forced to end the war. So let's see how the peace treaty goes. And here are the new borders of Eastern Europe. Hungary lost a bit of land. Oh, there still should be in the Sign Alliance, though. Russia was notably kept exactly intact. Ukraine basically offered to, or the Slavic Union basically offered to keep Russia intact in exchange for taking a bunch of land from Finland that they cared more about, because now Russia's surrounded and is not ever going to be able to do anything ever. The Slavic Union is like half of Europe now. Last event of this episode. Vatican will make an alliance with France. So the Vatican will actually join the Cyan Alliance. And this is surprising because they actually had good relations with San Marino, who was aligned with the Slavic Union. So the reason the Vatican is joining the Cyan Alliance is because they basically had a massive falling out with San Marino, and now they hate each other. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss it when the next one comes out. I think you're supposed to smash the like button, actually. Comment down below which country you think is going to win. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.